Today, we reveal 5 brand new quilt patterns.
And these patterns are the perfect choice for your next quilt project.
Hi, it's Donna Robertson.
And Fran Morgan with Fabric Café.
We designed 5 brand new quilt patterns that are not in any book.
And we are so excited to share. We have a special new designer sharing her very first pattern.
And guess what? It's someone you know and love already. So let's get started. Now, the first one is called Merry and Bright. And when I designed this, I was thinking I would like to have a new individual Christmas pattern that maybe had a little more traditional flair to it. And I picked out a couple of my favorite blocks. So we have the shoe fly, and then we have a 4-patch. Super easy to put together, and let's put it on the table and talk about it. Whenever we're making Christmas quilts, a lot of times we want something that'll be super fast, and this one is super fast.
But it's really interesting.
It is interesting. It's got a lot of movement in it, and I love the fact that we've mixed the fabrics, so we've got a little bit of all 3 in this particular block.
Yes.
Which is part of the reason why you have movement in a quilt, is because you've got a lot of colors that your eyes want to travel to. And we always have our number 2 fabric so that it has a resting place for your eyes while you're looking at all of that movement. Now the first fabric is our poinsettia. It's such a pretty traditional poinsettia fabric. It has a pine cone.
I like it with the pine cones.
I do too. Pine cones just say Christmas to me.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is going to go in both blocks, because we also tell you that a lot of times we want you to be able to find the fabric that you're going to use for your focus, because we're going to put it in that area that's the most prominent throughout the quilt. And in this case, we've got it in each block and on the border.
It's gorgeous. I love it on the border. It really helps bring all the colors together.
You know, if you followed us for a while, you know I love the number 1 fabric out in the border. Somehow or another, it just seems like it expands the whole quilt design.
I think so too.
So this is our number 1 fabric. And then our number 2 fabric is this great kind of a scrolly looking fabric.
It's pretty.
It is. And you know, this is a gray, but if you look at it, you can see it has a little tiny bit of a green undertone.
It does, and it kind of picks up the undertones in these little white flowers here, which is perfect.
Yes, I really like that. So that's going to go in your background so it makes your design really pop forward. And then the number 3 fabric, we always love to have the grungy Model D looking fabrics in our number 2 or 3 or even 1
sometimes. Yeah, but I love them too because they have the darker shades of the color and the lighter shades of the color, so it picks up all of them.
It also kind of creates a depth to those otherwise flat fabrics.
Yeah, agreed.
So those are our 3 fabrics, and our block here is done with strip piecing, so it goes together really fast. And then you just make a few little half square triangles, and then you build like a 9-patch. So it's a super easy pattern.
It's super simple. And what's really great about this, if you purchase the kit, you can choose this brand new Merry and Bright pattern for free.
Oh, well, what if they buy 5 kits? They can get all 5 of them free.
They could. That's a great idea.
All right. So the information on this is the Poinsettia Bouquet, 8023372. Merry and Bright is the pattern, and it's brand new.
So our next brand new individual pattern is Arcade. Now, I set out specifically to design a pattern with no half square triangles. That was very important to me. And I love this because it's actually 2 blocks that are alternated. Both are made using some strip piecing and just some other additional strips, so it makes it very easy. And I love the way this block here has your focus fabric in the middle, and it's framed with both your fabric 2 and 3. I think it gives it a lot of dimension, a lot of depth, and it really has a lot of movement. So let's put it on the table and look at the fabric and talk a little more about this pattern.
I really like the fabric too.
Yeah, the thank you. The fabric is my Flower Power line from Blank, so it's really fun and it works really well in this pattern.
It's gorgeous.
So, and we have some pieces and parts, so I'm going to talk about how to make this. So first, let me just kind of talk about this block here. This is basically strip piece unit here, a strip here, and then 2 on each side. You cut your unit, and then we just sew the strips, and then we do it again. So it makes it very simple. So this is an easy block to put together. Now this block is equally easy to put together, and there's lots of cool things about this. So what I have here is a strip piece unit, and we have our focus fabric, our 3 and our 2 put together, and then we're going to cut a unit off of this. So let me grab some of these other ones. Let me just pull this away so that we can see that this is simply cut from that. Very easy. All right, then the next step after we cut all of these is we are going to sew a strip of fabric to the side. This does a couple of things. See, there's no seams matching here. So then what we have, so I've got a piece here, I'm going to show you that. So here is our unit with our strip sewed to the side. So we have this unit. You see how it's the same? All we've done is flipped it over just like that. And we've sewn this one onto our long strip here. Very easy. Once again.
Such a cool.
Yeah, no seams to match, okay?
I love it.
And then we'll do this, and you can see it's gonna go together. We don't have any seams. It's super fast. One strip assembly, cut some units, put them in the right position, flip them around, super fast. So this is gonna go really cool. And you know what I really love about this too is the fact that this square frames your focus fabric so well, so it's really going to pop off. So if you have a really special fabric that you want to show off, this is a great pattern for that. So we have used, as you mentioned, our green flower power for our focus, which is just awesome. I love the colors in it. I love the way that these flowers just look like they're floating in space in all of these blocks. Super fun. Then we have our number 2, which is the fun polka dot. And of course we have them in our main block as our square, our border here, and then in our units here for the alternate block and a little on the border.
I want to say something because I just can't help
Okay.
it. I also love the way when you make this block, you're actually bordering this, so this is all framed as well. So I think that's cool too.
It's kind of an illusion, isn't it? It's kind of cool the way it fell. I really enjoyed this pattern. And once again, the only seams you're matching are on the corners, which is great, of the blocks.
That's great.
So, all right, so our number 2 here, and then we have our number 3 fabric, which is just so much fun. It's kind of like those bubbles or those rings kind of floating, which is kind of cool.
It's a party.
It's a party, yeah. And of course, that's all of our borders on our blocks, our cross hatches here, and a little on the binding. So, and of course, these fabrics just match perfectly because they were designed to do so. And
This is going to be one of my new favorites.
I love this pattern. I really think that it's a great one that's going to go together quick, and it's going to be able to accommodate all different kinds of fabric, which is really great. It is 8023374. It is called Fabulous Floral, and the pattern is Arcade.
Now, before we show you the next pattern, we want to introduce our brand new designer.
And you've all met her. It's Jessica.
Hi.
You know, Jessica and I met a few days ago.
Maybe a few more than that.
Jessica was 17 whenever I met her, and her mother, Denise Williams, came to work for us. So I met her and we chit-chatted, but it was several years before Jessica came to work for us. And after she came to work for us, oh my gosh, we love Jessica. She is such a creative person.
She really is. So Jessica, this is your first pattern that you've designed. Tell us about it.
Well, instead of telling you, why don't I just show you?
I would love that.
I love that too.
So this is my pattern, Carousel. When we were working on the one block book is when I started designing it. I spend a lot of time working in EQ doing the quilt renderings, and Fran has taught me to do quilt math as a backup check for all the other patterns. I also do a lot of proofreading. So when I showed Fran the pattern, she told me then that I had to write it. So I did, and that's how this pattern came to be. So why don't we put it up on the table?
Jessica, I love your fabric choices.
Thank you.
Oh, so pretty.
It's so cute. And tell us about your fabric and a little bit more about your pattern. Was it challenging?
A little. I had to adjust the math just a smidge to get it to fit into 3 yards.
Yeah, you know, that can be a challenge sometimes. I know we've talked about our blooper quilts where they go like a quarter or a half yard over. So we work really hard, and I know you've gotten really good at the math, and she's really learned how to check it and help us. Well, what if we do this, and what if we change this or tweak this? And you're an expert at it, and obviously it shows.
Thank you.
I really like the pattern very much.
Yeah, so tell us about this gorgeous fabric you picked.
Well, since it was my first quilt, I kind of wanted it to be something that I would put in my own house.
Oh, has a lot of interest.
It does. A lot of movement in the flowers and the little sparkles in the fabric too.
I love it. So your focus fabric goes in every single block.
It is.
And then we have...
And on the border.
Oh, it is. That's perfect. So love the number 2 choice because I love the way that it has some speckles, some little X's in there, almost like it's been hand stitched, like a cross stitch, which I think is cool.
And hugs and kisses.
Oh, even better. So in this, all of these little speckles and crosses have the colors from your focus fabric, which is great. And it's also in every block. So the borders of those and then your binding.
Well, this is actually a 1 block, isn't it?
It is. All you have to do is just flip your fabric 2 and 3 position for every other block.
I love it.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, that's great.
This is going to be a super fast pattern to put together. So
Yes.
genius. Love it. So then we have our number 3 fabric. And I like this because there's lots of color in this. And this also goes in every block and then a little bit on the border. And you can see how it picks up all the colors in the focus.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Perfect.
And I have a question for you.
Sure.
So if you usually check Fran's math when she designs, and when I design, do you check my math too? I never asked you.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Who checked your math?
Fran.
Me. And it's spot on, guys. Spot on. Lots of fabric, nice size quilt. This is going to be an easy one.
We always want to make sure that you can make these quilts so we have lots of eyeballs on those patterns when
Of
we're
course,
writing them.
absolutely, absolutely, we do. And this one is really great, Jessica. Congratulations.
Thank
Yes,
you.
congratulations.
Super job. So, could you read the kit information for everyone so they can get this?
Absolutely. The kit number is 8023375 Prairie Blooms, and the pattern is Carousel.
So this one is called Patriotic Pride. And you know, our top 2 patterns for the last few years have been a patriotic pattern. So I wanted to create a new one that would be just as dynamic. And I always like to put big blocks whenever you have the opportunity to show off a showy fabric. You could very easily put it in this block. And then you can consider this a 4 patch with pizzazz. So let's put it on the table and I'll show you what I mean. So as I was saying, whenever I made this particular quilt, I like having a big block in a quilt sometimes because certain fabrics are available with something real showy, like flags or the symbols of the service people.
Fireworks,
Anything
etc.
like,
oh yeah.
So this would be great for something like that. Now this block is equally easy, and I'm going to show you how with pieces and parts.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, we're going to start off with the friendship star. Now the friendship star is super easy to do. You're going to make a half square triangle and put 2 little squares on there.
Oh, easy.
And you're going to do 2 of those, one here. And see how this is the same thing? We're just going to rotate it around like this. And then we do just the opposite. Rather than a half square triangle in the middle, we're going to make half square triangles on each end with a solid block on the inside. And that becomes your star block.
That's great. I love that. That is simple. You can do that.
So see, it's a 9 patch with a pizzazz.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a 9 patch with pizzazz inside a 4 patch with pizzazz.
We're just pizzazzing it all up here, aren't we? Okay, so
I like pizzazz.
I do too. Now this is a finished block, and as you know, we always leave our seam allowances on here while we're putting these together, but isn't that cute?
I just love it's so cute. I don't think I've done one that small. I love it. It's just, but it's not hard. It's not small. I mean,
And I've actually done smaller half square triangles. I mean, if you can make a half square triangle, you can make a half square
they're a
triangle.
breeze. They're so cute. I love
But they're
it.
kind of dainty and petite,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay,
Very
now the
cute.
next step in this particular block is to strip piece. And we all know how much we love strip piecing. So we've got these 3 pieces together, and then we're going to cut a unit off of the side of this. Just
simple.
like that. Super
Super
simple.
simple.
And it still adds that pizzazz. So you're going to put this one here and this one there, and voila, you have your block.
I love it.
Isn't that fun?
Yes, it is so much fun. And this will go really fast because that strip piece part is really easy. And you know, those friendship stars are fun to make.
Oh, they
really,
are.
really are. So,
And
this
it
is
just
gonna be
makes a
great.
perfect, well, you know, this is This is easy to make, and it makes a perfect block without having to have lots and lots of stars that you're making, because a lot of times the bigger stars they get a little more intricate. So this is a great one if you're wanting to make like a Quilts of Valor. You can add a couple of borders on the quilt, and it really does make it the size that you need for the Quilts of Valor.
Love it.
Now let's look at the fabric, and I chose more of the model, well, let's see, what do you call it? Tone-on-tone fabrics, because I liked this fabric. It is a beautiful batik, and I love the way that they put the stars in the background and the stars here. I just thought that was so fun.
It's got a lot of strength to it. It's like it doesn't have too many different patterns and colors and everything. It just is out there, and it says, I'm strong, which I love. I love it.
And it kind of has that same feel as the flag, which is solid red, white, and blue, but with a little bit of pizzazz.
Yeah.
Okay, our number one fabric, we're going to cut those big blocks there, go right here. And then you've got your number two fabric, which is going to be your resting place for your eyes, so that you can actually see the designs. Now, when you're doing a friendship star like that, that background becomes your place where you're going to make this pop off of the surface. It's kind of
really
interesting.
does. Yeah, it really, really does.
But the stars are white, as they should be. Yes. And then we have our number three fabric, which is our dark blue, and that's going to be everywhere you see here.
That is great. That is fabulous.
Yes, I really like this. And you know, with this pattern, it's Patriotic Pride, you can get it free if you purchase the kit. And this kit information is 8023373. Leadership is the name of the kit. Patriotic Pride is the pattern.
Now this pattern is called Pinwheel Lane, and as you can see, you probably understand how I got the name, because we have these nice vertical rows here with our pinwheels in here, and I just think it's really interesting. And what's cool is I think this pattern could be done in so many different fabrics. Like, think of it as Christmas, or even the fun fabric that it's in, I love it, or even red, white, and blue, so that you could see these little pinwheels popping off. So this is a really versatile one, and I think it's super, super easy to make the way we've interspersed the blocks here. So let's put it on the table and check out the fabric. So I want to talk a little bit more about how Pinwheel Lane is made, because it's really kind of a fun, different way to construct a quilt top. So what we've done is we've built our pinwheels, of course, with just half square triangles. We have 4 of them here. And then we've sewn them together with a rectangular block. So it's really a very, very simple thing. So of course you can see the pinwheel block here. Very, very easy. And then we've sewn them together in columns with a rectangle in between. Now, after we've got this long column built, what we've done is we've put a border here, and then we have a sashing piece here. Now, we also have our number 2 and our focus fabric on the border of the quilt. But this is going to go really fast because it is made in those columns, and it's going to give you some great opportunity, like I said, to use some really interesting fabrics. Like, I could see these in red and white, like candy cane, and then you put your fun Christmas fabric there or something like that. But it's darling in this. It's like just a flurry of flowers.
And you know, although you'll be matching your centers of your pinwheel, there's no matching out here on another one of those great quilts. So you build your little unit, and then you don't have anything matching up across here.
I love that. I love that. That's a great point. I'm so happy that you pointed that out.
Do you suppose that's why we started using sashing to separate the blocks? Because we got tired of putting corners together.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's a really good point.
I just made it up.
Yeah. Well, this one does that, okay? So let's look at this fabric. So I have used this great flower on the pink background here as our focus fabric. Now you can see, of course, it's on the border and binding, but I've used it in our pinwheels just to give little pops of color where that pinwheel is. It's a great way to say you can still use a big print in a little spot so that you can get that color. I think it's really fun. So our number 2 is our white with our polka dots, and that is our sashing as well as the border of the quilt here. And then our number 3, of course, is our great green with our flowers and our circles on there. And that is what is giving us that pop and helps our eye travel down the lane.
You know, Fran, I think that's the cutest name.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I want to say that if you are falling in love with these patterns the way we have fallen in love with them, we're going to offer a special bundle of the 5 patterns at a discounted price. So be sure to check that out.
That's awesome. These are 5 great patterns, 5 fast patterns.
I know. I love it.
Yes, what a great way to get them. The kit number is 8023371. It is called Summer Stroll. And of course, the pattern is Pinwheel Lane, and that's brand new.
So now that you've seen all of these patterns, which one are you going to use for your next project?
And if you want more pattern inspiration, be sure to click the next video that pops up on the screen.